What's up, guys? It's John at National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to cover a couple baseball things in this video. One, for the people that are subscribed to my membership service, I found a nice little, I want to call it an upgrade, but just a change in the way that I'm going to be giving out the picks. So let me know if you like it. I'll go into that in a second. And for people that have been asking, I try and do baseball. Like I said, I wanted to make it fair, so I make it exclusive to the people that signed up for the membership service because there's multiple picks a day, and it does take a while. I know there's people waiting for football to sign up, which is fine. Football is going to be done the same way we did it last year, and essentially the same way as baseball, just without the series. So I wanted to go into that, my rig system, because a lot of people are curious about it. And for the people that obviously are already signed up, I just wanted to go into what the new format is. But first, I found something very interesting, and maybe you guys can pick them out. I'll give you 10 seconds. If you could think of a team in here that you think is getting a push, a World Series push. There's a few, but I'll give you a hint. One got a major push today. They're on the grasp of history, and they're getting a lot of headlines. And it's interesting the way the team's being pushed. So, if you guessed it right, congratulations. It is the Cincinnati Reds. This team went from being a boring team, just like the Pirates, where they're just your routine, they win, they lose, whatever, who cares, team, to all of a sudden, this team is like the Warriors. They're being treated like the Warriors. They have the first two, the two top highlights on ESPN. I know there's not a lot going on, but you do have an NBA draft. We have golf tournaments. We have all these games playing. And I understand the cycle being in here for the youngest guy, but having Votto, I find very interesting. They're trying to, it seems like, make this guy seem like a Hall of Famer all of a sudden. Yes, he had a very good, 6-7 years. Then he really slowed off, and it was like he wasn't even there. Now all of a sudden they're just like, oh yeah, Joey Votto, top guy in the league. So when I start seeing these type of things, it really makes me feel like the team's getting pushed. They also fit my color theory. The names are literally the Reds. I have a theory that most of the winners are going to have the red and white. And someone brought to my attention that the Nuggets are technically, because I really was like, yeah, I don't want to reach there. They're gold and blue. But someone pointed out that they really haven't worn those jerseys for a while, and their predominant colors are white, blue, red, with some gold. And I think the gold is something interesting too. I think about the 49ers, they tie into that. So it is very interesting, and I like the Reds to win the World Series. De La Cruz, you should have heard the announcers when this game was going on. They were saying stuff like, oh, it's LA Mania running wild, which is a reference to Hulkamania. When he hit his cycle, the announcer said, oh, we manifested it, we spoke it into existence. When Joey Votto hit this home run, the announcer said, oh, if you believe in symbolism, number 19 just had his 19th home run game. So, trust me, with the Gematria people, I agree with you guys, it's there. The problem is trying to guess it. Interesting thing I noticed is they broke the streak. It's been 66 years since they had a winning streak this long. And literally during the game, they advertised a Carl Jr.'s El Diablo commercial where they're selling this El Diablo sandwich for $6.66. So again, I think it all ties in. But this team, Votto, De La Cruz, India, they're just getting a push. They're pitchers that I just don't see happening really with other teams. You have the Braves getting it, sure, because they're just insane. The Rays are, but mostly because of the reason the Rays are always good, just really good pitching. Marlins, you're not really seeing it. You're not seeing the love for Arias that you're seeing for, in my opinion, for De La Cruz. And I get he's, just came up and all these things, but you're almost batting 400. You'd think that would be a major story. Mets, all the talent. It's really just a story of how they're wasting the talent. Phillies, the same thing. Angels, they could be doing way more Showtime and Trout, but they're not. So it just tells me they're going to be a red herring. So yeah, looking through the list, I really like the Cincinnati Reds. I think they're a great team to win the World Series. To me, they just make sense. they tick a lot of boxes, and then that's what's important to me is that they tick a lot of boxes. Now, other teams that I could see it happen. Braves are obviously on the list of teams I could see them matching up against. That would make sense to me because that would be a big Cinderella story. And if you watched the game today, boy, was it entertaining. So I could see Braves. That would make some sense to me. A lot of these other teams really don't. Dodgers kind of makes sense to me because, again, you have another powerhouse team. Padres don't. But, yeah, just long story short, I absolutely love the Reds. And let me know if you agree, if you think that they're being treated a little bit differently. Now, this is mostly for the people that have signed up for the Buy Me a Coffee. I've been doing this for a few weeks now. And essentially, this is how the picks are usually delivered. I can only do audio videos on there. That's why I'm doing it on here. So you can see that, that's fine. But I thought if I charted it would be better. I'm doing it on my phone now, so I understand that the chart is a little big. But you can see in the columns we have our leg 1, 2, and 3s, and we're just plugging them in instead of kind of having to remember them and things of that nature. So for the people that don't know how the system works, if you've never seen my channel or if you've just heard about it or you watch me do it with football but, not in this capacity, it's pretty simple. Leg 1 is 1 unit. Let's say you bet $50. Let's say you're a semi-high roller. So Nationals won, there's $50. Pirates, that was a loss. So the next one would be 100. That was a loss. Leg 3 would be 200. And we got that at plus 150. So that was a nice win. And that's essentially all we need to do. I explained before, in the long run, the numbers are always going to bear out. Yankees did not cover today, so I got them covering tomorrow. Now, here's an interesting one was the Phillies. We went with the Phillies. For people that might have been confused, because I sent out my picks already to you guys on the membership side. I had the Phillies covering the Mets, which they did. And tomorrow I'm switching it, and I have the Mets covering the Phillies. It's simply because I like both teams. I think it's going to be a series where it's not like a sweep. And the Mets cover odds, as you can see, are not that appealing. Plus 130, not great. Not a lot of people are going to jump on that. So I love it because I think it means people are going to be all over the Phillies. And Cubs-Cardinals I like for the same reason. I'm going to go into that. And the last one was Jays. So this is like a freebie for anyone that's not signed up anyway for tomorrow's picks. Jays cover A's. I like that as the alternate line. I just don't think the A's are going to win again. And when the Jays win, they do win big. So tomorrow it's the Cubs cover. And just to make it, one more. Cubs cover the Cardinals 1.5. Jays cover the adjusted line 2.5. Got the Mets covering at 1.5. I'm rerunning the Reds at 1.5 because unfortunately they got the win for us, but I went with the cover. It didn't work. I know a lot of people just went with the win, so congratulations for those who did. But I'm running it back. I do not see the Reds losing. I posted on my membership site that this is my lock of the day because I think it's a lock of the day. I don't think the Reds... Reds winning is my lock of the day. But for my leg 2, I went with the minus 1.5. And to round it out, I got the Yankees covering the Rangers. And you can see these are all plus odds. So that's why I like baseball with this system. Because if you bet, just say you bet 10, whatever it is, and you don't, like on the Pirates, right, and you didn't get it. Then you bet 20 and you didn't get it. Then 40. Well, you've shoved out $60 total. I'm sorry, $70 total. But you're getting paid about $100, so $140. You're getting a 2-to-1 on a leg 3, where traditionally we only get 1 unit. Here we picked up 2 units net, net 2 units, including the leg 1, 2. So that's another reason I love this system with baseball. We start, we'll have ruts, of course, but it's one of those things where the numbers really bear out at the end. So nothing crazy. I just wanted to go into some futures. I think the Reds definitely make a run, and I have them winning the World Series. I wanted to see what you guys thought of, because I know a lot of people watching are already subscribed. What you guys thought of this type of format. I'll try it on my computer. I can't guarantee it. I'm not great at charting, but I just thought it'd be a little better and a little easier to track, because then we could just simply add columns and have everything where we're seeing it every single day, where we're at, and I think it might be a little bit easier. I could put dates in here if that makes it easier, what date we played it on. It does add up the more I type, and it also makes the chart bigger, but stuff like this, so we know what day the game was played, whatever the case may be. Typically, I'll just write TBD, which is to be determined, for a game that hasn't started yet. So we only have like 5 or 6 plays tomorrow. Oh yeah, about the Cubs. The reason I liked the Cubs tomorrow to cover, and they moved actually from 110 to 109, which is funny. But if you look at the Cubs and then you look at the Rangers at -1.5 are getting almost 140, whereas the Cubs, and I went for both teams that are batting in the top of the order, because obviously batting in the bottom, you're going to get worse odds to cover by 2. But yeah, you look at the Rangers and Cubs, and it's quite off. The Cubs is not very appealing. They're going up against Wainwright, so I don't see people racing to take Cubs -1.5. So when I see a Vegas line that looks kind of ugly, I'm not getting great value, sometimes I like it more. So that's the reason I decided to go with the Cubs. There was no other reason. And I look through these teams, and that's what I do. I try and find ones where it's like, okay, they're not really giving great odds here for, this team to cover. You can see the Red Sox getting 133. So the Cubs are really an outlier here where they're just not getting great odds. So I could see the Cubs definitely covering this, and I like them to cover it. But yeah, again, that's essentially it. I wanted to go into the Reds before it was too late. Again, a couple days of good play. They get close to that streak, which, again, interesting. They had the Carl Jr.'s commercial, for the El Diablo sandwich during this game at 6.66. I thought that was pretty interesting. It's been 66 years on the streak. They're coming up on 124 years if they get it to 15 games. It reminds me of Aaron Judge's home run. If you remember, we called the game that Judge was going to hit the home run. The Yankees went to, I believe it was 99 and 63 when he hit the home run. And obviously he's 99 and he hit number 63. Or it was 99 and 62. It was like so obvious. And we just knew it wasn't going to end in a tie. So for the last 5 games, I literally just chased him hitting a home run. And he did. So I'm getting really the same vibes. I know that was home runs. But I'm getting the same vibes with the Reds. I think they're just going to go on this run. And I think they're going to flirt with history. They might beat it, but at least make it where, oh man, one more win, and they're tied for an 124-year-old record. They love breaking records, so that's why I love the Reds tomorrow. Again, I picked them as my leg 2 for the cover, but I do a lock of the day. I do that, as something where I look through every game, and I just think which one I think is the most obvious. And I think the Reds winning, which is still plus odds, is the lock of the day. So please let me know what you think. Again, if you're a part of Buy Me a Coffee and you think this would be better, I'll find a way to do it. I did it here, obviously. Doing it with multiple games for every single day becomes a little taxing, but it's certainly feasible and something I can do. And for the people that really weren't sure how the system worked, this is how it works. It's pretty simple. We do 1, 2, and 3, and it's just using discretion, looking at suspicious lines, looking at stories. I've learned that just metrics really, I thought baseball is boring, it's going to be just metrics. And the more I've been following narratives and looking at how the announcers are acting in the middle of games, I've noticed a marked improvement. Today when the Reds were down 5-2, quite a few people on my Discord were saying at 5-2, it's looking kind of weird. The line wasn't crazy. The Reds were plus 300. You'd think against the Braves they would have been plus 500. I thought they were going to come back. Sure enough, the man of the hour makes a 5-4. Then it's 5-5. And then in a crazy game, they hold on and they win 11-10. So very interesting. And again, I think that they're going to continue the streak. So I just thought you guys would like this. Again, I know it's not the perfect chart, but I thought it might be a little better. And for those who didn't know essentially what my rig system is, this is what we did for about 200 videos. Gosh, if we count the last channel, 300 or so videos. We were doing, I didn't do, for the last couple months, I've just been covering the narratives and such, just because we haven't had a ton of games to play. And the baseball one, again, I've been keeping exclusive to the people that signed up because that was my promised utility, and it's only fair. But as football season rolls around, things like that, it's just very simple. 1 unit, 2 units, 4 units. you don't bet too many units, and we don't chase after leg 3. That's where our system has worked, where so many others have fallen off. It's because we don't chase after leg 3. Sometimes we will, but very, very seldomly. The value is just not there. So I hope you guys like this. It was a little bit of like a bankroll management kind of whatever you want to call it, alpha seminar, and as well as just picks that I like and the reason I like certain picks. And you can see that the numbers just essentially bear out in the end, especially with us catching plus odds on so many. Of course, we're not always going to catch the plus odds, but on leg 2s and leg 3s when we're catching plus 140, I think we're going to catch plus 200 tomorrow. It really does add up, and it makes it nice. It makes it where we only need to win about 5 versus 7 for every 3-leg loss. So again, this is probably boring to a lot of people, but if you're just for simple profits, simple long-term discipline, then I wanted to show this because this is all we do every day. And it's what I did with football that worked tremendously, college basketball, the NBA. And again, this was like for years, including the old channel, almost a year now. So we're going to continue doing it. I'll do it with football if you guys want. Just let me know. And let me know what you think of the Reds. I really think that they're being pushed as, in my opinion, as a team that is going to be a Cinderella story, a tale of heart and grit, and this team is changing baseball. They're making it fun to watch. Like those are the vibes I'm getting from the Reds, where other teams are doing the same thing. So it'll be very interesting to watch. And again, just please let me know your opinions. I always love them. And again, thank you to everybody so much, to everyone that showed love and continues to show support on here, on Buy Me a Coffee, on Discord. It really is awesome. I'm not always right. I'm wrong a lot. But I think we're all over the target where we know that these are stories. This is entertainment. And it makes it, especially live. We cleaned up in the Discord today doing live. The Rockies, great job. A lot of people got in on the Reds. There was a lot of ones people got in on mid-game and did very well because I think they saw, hey, something's up here. And again, if you see a team down 3 runs and it's like plus 300, but there's another team like the Nationals who were only down a couple, I think they were down 2 to the Padres, and they were like plus 450, then it might, to me, it tells me Vegas knows something. I'm staying away from the plus 450. It happened the other day. Who was it? They were literally down, I think it was 3-0, and we got them and they won. Whoever it was, it really doesn't matter. They were down 3-0, getting like plus 250. And I posted, like, does anyone else find this odd? And like a bunch of people were like, yeah, I think it's odd. Sure enough, they came back and won. So it just happens all the time. And it wasn't the Rockies because they're in a losing streak, but it was a team like the Rockies, and they were playing a pretty good team. So the comeback was kind of odd, but sure enough, they came back. So I've learned from Hutch in the Discord, Miami Killers, Steven. I've learned from Dab, a lot of people, just watching the live number days, watching the live lines really does help as far as, we could probably do so much better live. Unfortunately, I would never be able to get all this out live unless I created some kind of tier where it's like we get on a voice chat or something. So, and I give that in my Discord anyway. I give out my live, whatever information that I believe is going to happen. So, again, thank you everyone for the support. I'm looking forward to football, but we're doing good with baseball, so I'm going to stick with that, obviously. And just let me know, especially if you're receiving the picks, just let me know if there's a better way I can send them. If you like this chart or just a chart idea more than obviously like where it's just kind of straightforward, let me know, and I'll have to switch over to my computer, but I think it might be better and probably be easier too for all of us. So good day today. We got our lock of the day. We got our leg 3. That's always good. And again, I will post baseball going forward. This one I thought was really important because I think a lot of people can make some money by getting in on the Reds. 33-1. I'm hearing it's 10,000 to 1 on FanDuel. That would be insane because that would put them with like the Rockies as far as their odds, the Pirates, and I just don't see that. But even 33-1 is just really good odds, and I think that they're going. I really do think they're going to be the ones that win. It just, to me, I don't see any other teams getting this kind of push. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.